All right. Leetcode 844, backspace string compare. So this one says, given two strings s and t, you want to return true if they're equal when both are typed into empty text editors. And this pound means it's a backspace character. Note that after backspace and the empty text, the text will continue empty. So what that looks like is, for example, you have this S here and you have the T here. The S is AB. Well, let's just copy this. The S is ABC. You have this £1 right here, which means that's the backspace. So you would remove that one, and then AD pound C over here. You have one backspace, so then that means you remove that one. Then you have A and C. A and C are equal, so you return true. And that's what it says right here. Both S and T become AC, which showed right here. For the second example, you can see that you have two backspaces here, two backspaces here. So you take this backspace and remove that one, and then this backspace removes that one, then this backspace removes this one, this backspace removes this one, and they're both empty strings, so that would make that true. Both S and T become empty strings. And then for example 3, you have A and C and no backspace here. So if we backspace on this one, you have C and B, which aren't the same, so that makes that false. So there's a false there and becomes C and B, just like we showed. All right, so getting to the implementation of the code, what we're going to do is we are going to use pointers. So I'm going to use a pointer to point to the end of each string, and also use a count so that we can count how many backspaces there are. So if we're able to count how many backspaces there are, we're in using a pointer starting from the back, then we're able to skip or delete those characters. So if we start from C here, let's actually do this. So if you start from C, there's no backspace there, so you can continue. And if we keep a count of deletes right now are 0, start from the back. You have C, so that's cool. And then if we land on this one, that's a 1 delete, so deletes populates about 1. And then so that means you get to B. B, there's a delete, so then you would remove that, and now it's 0, and that becomes that AC. You can do the same thing for this one. So if you start with C here and there's no deletes, you can go to the next one. This is a delete, so you populate that, and now you're on the next one, and that's a D. You have 1 delete, so you have to delete that one. Go to the next. You don't have any more deletes, so then it's AC. So that's pretty much how we're going to solve this one, by using pointers and also keeping track of how many deletes there are. So you can do an int for deletes or backspaces or whatever you want to call it. Call it backspace count. And right now it starts at 0. And then for our int, we're going to do a s pointer. And we're going to s pointer is going to equal s dot length minus 1. So we're able to put that at the end, and then int t pointer is going to equal t dot length, and this puts both of those pointers towards the end. All right, so now both of those pointers are at the end. So now what you want to do is go through each one and do the backspace count. So I actually do backspace count for S and then also one for T as well. For T, and then I'll just put these together. It don't matter, but all right. So S has backspace count, and actually let's do this. S backspace count. And then T backspace count. Okay, so both of those are the same. And then we can start with S first. And what we want to do is just count the backspaces. So while S pointer is less than or equal to 0, because we want it to go all the way to the end. So while it's less than or equal to 0, actually we want this whole thing. Yeah, let's do the whole thing first. No, in fact, let's just do this. While it's less than or equal to 0, what we want to do is count the backspaces. So you say if S dot character at S pointer, if that's equal to a backspace, then what we want to do is increase the backspace count. For S backspace count, plus plus, or plus equal 1. Let's do plus plus. And then that pointer decrements. S pointer minus minus. So we can go to the next one. Else if S backspace count is greater than 0, because this means that we're not on a backspace, so we're on an actual character. So if we're on a character, we want to check the backspace count so we know whether to skip it. And so if there's a backspace count, that means we need to skip it. So then we can do S pointer minus minus, and also decrement that backspace count too. So S backspace count minus minus, and then else we can just break out of this loop, because that means that we found a character that we can keep. And we're going to do that same thing to the other side. T pointer minus equal to 0. So while T pointer is less than or equal to 0, do the same thing, but it's with T this time. T dot char at T pointer equal to backspace, then T backspace count plus plus, T pointer minus minus, else if that backspace count for T is greater than 0, and that means we're going to skip over or delete that character for T. And then also decrement the backspace count for T. And otherwise we break because we found it. All right. And also we want to continue to do this, do both of these while S pointer is greater than equal to 0, or t pointer is greater than or equal to 0. So put that in there. All right, so now we have our two whiles, and this is going to figure out our backspace and give us the characters. All right, so now that we have our characters, now we can compare those. So we'll do if t pointer, we'll start with s pointer. If s pointer is greater than or equal to 0, and t pointer is greater than or equal to 0, that means that they both haven't ended yet, and they have a character that we compare. So we compare those characters to see if they're the same. And if those characters aren't the same, so if s pointer dot char at no, not s pointer. If I think it's just s, right? Yeah, s dot char at s pointer. If that is not equal to t dot char at t pointer, then you can return false, because they're not the same character. And if they're not the same character, they won't be equal. They're not equal. So return false. Else, if s dot character at, not that, this was else, if s pointer is greater than or equal to 0, or t pointer is greater than or equal to 0. So if this means that if this didn't catch it, meaning that they both are greater than or equal to 0, that means one finished before the other finished. So if it's an or, that means that you can return false as well, because that means that they're unequal. So like in this case right here, this one will finish before this one finishes. So that means that this one will be less than, or this would be 0. So it wouldn't be greater than or equal to 0. And then the last part, we just need to, so this is a while. So last part, I think we just need to decrement your s pointer minus minus, and then your t pointer minus minus. And we'll return true. Uh-oh. And see if that works. Resend the file. Okay. This needs to go up here, and this needs to go up 1. Try that again. Same thing. What the heck? What's wrong with my parentheses? Oh, brackets. Turn true. That's for this. This bracket closes there. Where's this bracket go? This bracket goes for that if statement. So this goes there. This bracket goes for if you have this other if here. Close that there. And this goes for that one. This goes for that one. This goes for that one. Put that back there. Alright, I think we're all good now. Try that out. It's that length. Oh, because this needs a parenthesis. Then the same with this one. T pointer equals, oh, because this is a character, not a string. We got one test case, false, false. All right, what went wrong? We got false when it's supposed to be true. Return false. We're returning false in these cases. It's supposed to be true, so that means that s dot pointer is greater than equal to 0 and t dot pointer is greater than equal to 0. If s dot character at s dot pointer does not equal, that's what we want. If it's not equal to this character, you need to return false. Also, if s dot pointer or s pointer is greater than or equal to 0 or return false, decrement the pointers, so that looks all good. Backspace, that's the length. Then while s dot pointer is greater than or equal to 0 or t pointer, that's fine. Then while s pointer, these are going the wrong way. S pointer isn't less than, needs to go this way. While s pointer is greater than or equal to 0, same thing with t pointer, because they're greater than 0. It looks like that was it. Hit that submit. And we're all good to go, 100%.